back. We are going to talk about now a high court to decide if war memorial violates Constitution. And we just found this today on, we'll post the link for you. Everything we're talking about, we will post the links and everything for the articles so you can read them. We found this article on, WorldNet Daily just today. A federal judge has ordered the Mojave Cross, a war memorial erected by a veterans group 75 years ago, to be covered. It's boxed in plywood now. The issue is less than what the cross symbolizes and more about where it sits. In the middle of the Mojave. Okay, sorry. When you lived in California, you'll know more than me. Maybe you should read it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, maybe you should read this. I don't know how this...
Yeah, the Mojave National Preserve, which was government land. What's going on with this is Riley Membry, he served as a medic in World War I, and he helped create this cross in 1934. This is during right after World War I, to commemorate. It sits on a 4,000-foot plateau, and it's a place of reflection where a lot of veterans came to for recovery. I mean, anyone's familiar with most of California and some of Colorado. When you get up in the mountains and everything, it's pure, crisp air, and people that were diseased and attacked by the mustard gas.
It's in the desert. It's not on the
mountain.
Yeah,
it's like in the desert, a 4,000-foot plateau. I mean, that's pretty much a pretty good steep climb, possibly. And they have annual Easter services are held there, but only the locals knew about it. He never really got permission from the government to do this, but for decades, no one really said anything about it. He took care of it for 5 decades, and he died in 1984. I'm really curious who took care of it after that. In 94, 1.6 million acres of desert, including the land with a cross on it, was transferred to the National Park Service. Now, this is what happened, it being transferred to the National Park Service. Frank Buno, a former deputy superintendent of the preserve, he filed a lawsuit with the help of the ACLU, claiming federal officials were acting unfairly. A federal court ordered the cross removed earlier this decade, and the judge ruled that the dispute settling the costs has to be covered. In 2001, Congress got involved. Lawmakers prevented the Park Service from spending money to remove the display. Then a year later, they said the site was a national memorial similar to the Washington Monument and Mount Rushmore. The Republican-led Congress agreed to transfer 1 acre of land around the cross in exchange for 5 private acres inside the preserve. California San Francisco court turned it down, saying it failed to satisfy constitutional concerns. The land swap would have left a little donut hole in the middle of the land, and that was a problem. They wanted all or nothing. That was their big deal. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing is, there's a lot of other cases that have happened like this, where some have won and some haven't. First Amendment cases, for example, tax exemptions for churches. God is still on our money. 2005, the 10 Commandments in Texas State House grounds was allowed. Now, I know in Houston they removed it, but this was allowed to stay because it was surrounded by historical markers. In the same day, 10 Commandments were removed from 2 Kentucky courthouses, and they said it was unconstitutional. They said a government effort to substantially promote religion. But if it's around a historical marker, it's okay. Earlier this year, a small religious group in Utah was not allowed to put the 10 Commandments up. This case could extend beyond the Mojave Cross. There's 5 million veterans that are being represented in this, and a lot of people are shocked and horrified with what is going on. I mean, are they going to just bring in a bulldozer and tear it down? I mean, what's going to be done with this? It just doesn't make any sense. There's several people that want to come in, and I've read about a few things on it, that they want to come in and paint it up, set it up, make it an actual memorial, talk about what's going on, so then it can get actual, stature and status. Because depending on non-religious people, a cross can also symbolize a gravesite.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
But the funny thing is, this cross is out in the middle of a desert, out in the middle of nowhere, near no homes, no government places, no nothing, and it was on public, wasn't on government property for years until the government bought the land. So here's the question I'm throwing out there: if the government decides they want to buy the land your church is on, for example, does that mean your church has to be covered up by plywood or has to be torn down because, oh, wait a minute, the government just bought my church land?
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll destroy the church.
Well, then you think about it. Well, if your home, now if the government owns the land your home is on, are you going to be allowed to have, pictures of Jesus on your walls or whatever religion that you believe in? Will they force you in your own private home, even though they own the land? So they own the land, but it's your home. You pay taxes too, and blah, blah, blah. Will they prohibit you from having whatever you want in your home because it violates, it's unconstitutional? That's what we're kind of throwing. And it's just so ridiculous. It's a cross in the middle of nowhere. No one sees it. And it's upsetting.
Yep.
It's upsetting. I didn't know about it.
Let's look at Matthew 5, 10, and 12.
I also found some good...
She's got some too, it looks like.
Yeah, I've got some really good ones over here.
Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. So this isn't new.
No. And in Romans 12:21 it says, don't let evil get the best of you, but conquer evil by doing good. And then in Hebrews 10:30 it says, he was quite explicit. Vengeance is mine, and I won't overlook a thing. And God will judge his people. Nobody's getting by with anything, believe me.
It says that we're supposed to be ambassadors for Christ. And to be ambassadors for Christ, you have to speak up and let your voice be heard. You have to hear stories like this. Mm-hmm. Like last week, the whole thing with Christmas ornaments, not allowing to have any religious symbols. Not just Christians, so don't, this includes whatever you believe in. If you believe SpongeBob is your God, you weren't allowed to put SpongeBob on the tree. Nope. It doesn't matter.
And we'll post the link to that article on the video below us here. And but the thing is that we found out this week, because people were very upset. I mean, how do you have a Christmas tree and not have religious ornaments on it? But so a lot of people.
But that's the great thing. A lot of people found out about this stuff.
They complained to the Capitol.
Not only they posted, they called their congressmen, they called their House of Representatives, they called their local offices, they called the schools, they called Arizona where the cases happened, and it got overturned within a week.
Yep. So now they can have religious ornaments put on the tree. They can have whatever they want. And I think that's the way it should be. I mean, this has been going on for how many years, and no one has just this year it's been an issue. Well, you can't have anything religious. Then why have a Christmas tree? Having a Christmas tree is a religious thing. So we'll be back, and Jeremy's going to talk about Oprah and Jesus. Who's right? Be right back.